Peace and blessings, YouTube family. Hope everyone is doing great and has had and enjoyed a spectacular Sunday. Welcome to another edition from the Doctor's Corner. Just wanted to communicate with you and have a brief conversation with everyone. Check in. Hope all is going great with each of you, and certainly hope you're prepared for a magnificent week that's ahead. Family, in our last conversation, we talked about, and we had a conversation about fear, right? And how fear can really just take captive of us, right? In a way, paralyze us from achieving so many goals and dreams that we like to have, and certainly even just from a level of enjoyment, right? We think so much about the consequences, and we often only consider the negative consequences as opposed to the positives. And the fear of that, places many of us in a paralyzed state where we don't fully pursue living, right? We don't fully pursue life. So that was in our last conversation, and today I want to maybe just introduce to you very briefly in terms of a different lens, right? Let's flip that coin. We certainly understand, the negative impacts with fear, but what about the opposite of that, right? So my question to you this evening is, what makes you happy? What is your what's that centerpiece that really just where does your sunshine come from? What brings you that level of joy and giddiness where it makes your heart jump? It brightens your spirit, it lightens your spirit, excites you to a level to where you're hopeful about that moment, you're hopeful about that day, you're hopeful about tomorrow, right? Um, Wonder how many of us get connected with that, right? Sometimes the whole issue of identifying our weaknesses or the things that fear us, finding the things and discovering the things that make us happy can also be fleeting, particularly when we operate in a life and in a space where we never actually, um, you know, get in the best posture to identify, to really even know who we are, right? To really even know what makes us tick, what makes us go. I think about Abraham Maslow. Each of you, would be aware in terms of the American psychologist that developed a theory on human needs, right? And basically his argument was, before, where actually I think he identified like five different levels of human needs. But the basis of that, in his estimation and his argument, was you got to have your basic human needs in place first, right? Like air, like food, the things that we got to have to survive. But as you develop up, and it was like I said again, it's an hierarchical categorization, right? That he established, and one of the third stages in that hierarchy, in Maslow's hierarchy, was the level of love, right? That level of he would call it. Oh my God, now I'm testing myself now in my psychology days, but um, love and belonging. I want to say is what it was. Love and belonging would be the third stage in his hierarchical category, right? And so when you think about that, part of that, in terms of friendship, family, intimacy, but the major one that always stood out to me was that sense of connection, right? And so I just wonder, as we talk so much about self-care, as we talk so much about feeding into ourselves and giving ourselves the very nurturing and the very love that we're most adequate, in terms of giving to others. When we begin to start, returning some of that love, or finding a way to recharge ourselves and give to ourselves what we get of so many, I think we can begin to get in the process of understanding where do our true happy nexus come from, right? So that love and self-esteem, where do we, what is it for us that hits that button for us, right? So, that's the one thing I would love to encourage each of you on here tonight. Begin to seek internal knowledge of self, seek internal knowledge of who you are, of the things of life that really blesses your heart, blesses your soul and your spirit. To begin the process of identifying that, right? If it's whatever it is, I've had a constant theme in our discussions in terms of talking about, if you like to write, if you like to read, if you like to run or jog, exercise, whatever it is, right? Do your thing. If art, if painting is your thing, if singing is your thing, whatever that is, right? In terms of identifying that, and my hope is that once we find that nexus, and once we clearly identify that aspect, that element, that tenet that really feeds to our heart, maybe that would encourage us, maybe that would motivate us to better seek the life that we desire. Maybe that would give us that level of recharging, that boost to be able to thrust forward and overcome the fears, right? And overcome all of the fabrications that we've even made in our mind. Because so much, as we talk again about the fear part, a lot of what we're fearing is something that we haven't even seen. It's all based on this imagination, right? So I'm just hopeful that if maybe we can tap into the aspect of our being that really caters to making us feel great, making us feel good. If you're blessed to be in an environment where you have a circle of people that provides that for you, where the level of synergy that exists between each of it stretches you, it has your mind to go higher. You think more about the possibilities of life, as opposed to being in environments of those who can only talk about or only see where they are at this current plateau. If it's that, right, if it's being in that environment, what are you doing to place yourself in that environment on a consistent basis, right? If it's the reading that we talked about, what are you doing to position yourself? Are you even taking a book to work with you or to school with you, right? If reading is your thing, what are you doing to fight to put yourself in a position to do that? If it's writing, whatever it is, right? We're just talking about, tapping into the elements, the aspects, the tenets of life that really feeds to the greatness of our soul, right? And I'm just hopeful that if once we do that, if we first start the process of trying to identify what that is, right? To hit that proverbial light switch and allow it to illuminate within our minds or within our spirits, once we can completely identify it, then now we can begin to maybe start mastering our steps to get closer and closer and closer to that every day, right? Where we can begin to have more joy and being operated off of more joy than sadness, right? More light than darkness, right? More love than hate, right? And so that's my hope, family. That's my hope for you. That's my hope for me. That's my hope for each of us, to be able to discover and really tap into what pleases our heart, right? What really satisfies us and completes us as we consider Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Of course, the higher we go up on those stages, the tougher it becomes just because of life. But if we can identify exactly the one, two, or three things that really, pleases our heart, then now that gives us a better journey, doesn't it? It gives us a better focal point for the journey, right? Because we know now what we're seeking, as opposed to running away from that we fear will hurt or harm us. We're more concerned about running forward and towards the very thing that makes us happy and makes us complete. So just wanted to share that with your family. Hope you get something out of that. Hey, listen, if you would, do me a favor, do the channel a favor. Hit that thumbs up for me, right? Hit that subscription button, subscribe to the community, subscribe to the channel, right? It doesn't cost you anything. There's no money involved in that sort of a thing here with that. Please share this, right? Share these conversations with your family, with your friends. Once again, like I said, again, family, I want to really create a community whereby we can come in and have, some real true conversations, right? Whereby we can begin to, so often in our world, some of us feel we're completely left out in terms of how we think, right? We'll get into that even another day, but in essence, I just want this to be that kind of space, family. So if you would hit that like button, smash that for me, hit that subscription, hit that notification bell, so you'll know every time I upload, you'll be first on the spot to be able to chime in. And until we speak again, family, peace and be well.